Morning YouTube. We've got a Citroen Picasso 2013 model, brought in with no fan working and strange moisture issue. So the moisture comes into the carpet here, but it comes in through. Let's start again. So all the rainwater coming through here, all the leaves and rubbish that get stuck, they block the drain, which is right back up here. And if you take this wheel arch liner out, right at the top there's a plastic flap with a hole, and that's normally gunged up, and the water locks up in there and ends up in the footwell, but it travels down there via the heater motor. So if you see here, there's your heater motor underneath the dash, so it goes in. And so my first thoughts were to check the heating resistor, which is it normally in the motor up there, and we had volts going into it and it seemed to be okay. But as soon as I bridged out basically the resistor, the motor ran fine. So I thought, well, the motor's fine, I'll change the resistor. So that's what most people I think probably do, and they don't get the result they wanted. So new resistor, still didn't work. So I decided to take the motor out and then strip the motor apart. So, before we got to this point, I noticed that if I turned the fan controls on to full, it wouldn't work. However, if I gave the motor a quick flick with a screwdriver, not necessarily recommended, but if you gave it a flick, it'd start running. And as soon as it was running, you could go up and down the speeds fine until it came to stop. And then once it stopped, it wouldn't start again. So it turns out that the electronics see too much load being generated by the motor, and they won't, you know, it doesn't, either that or the soft start doesn't give enough power to get the motor starting, and then it sees an overload and it doesn't like it. So I took the motor out, take these two bolts out, and then wiggle the connector and give it a bit of a wiggle from the top of the motor, effectively. Just wiggle that out, and you'll find that as the water will probably get down here and then sits in the bottom of the motor housing here. So this motor was quite stiff to turn earlier, and I noticed that this locking ring here, this, I don't know what it is, a closing ring. So you've got the inner spindle, and then the inner spindle, and then the outer ring, and then this circlip that goes around it. Now the whole outer ring was rotating with the center, so as the motor was spinning, this was causing all the resistance, and it was spinning against this circlip, so that was creating a lot of resistance. So, and it was all rusted up in here. So I applied a bit of WD-40, didn't work, still stayed stuck. Eventually put some heat on it with a propane torch, and a bit of shock therapy, and now she's free, much freer. So I think obviously we could, this is a two-sided bearing in here, so we'll try and get some high temperature grease or some kind of oil in there, and we'll do the same from the motor side, which I have to just hope, because it's so tight you can't really see in there. We'll try and spray some lithium grease or something in there just to help that stay fluid. But yes, so I imagine that once I put this back together, it's going to be fine. Whether it's fine forever, I don't know. We'll have to see whether the bearings are shot, and if so, it will probably mean a new motor. But at least it'll help you diagnose it, and you won't be chasing yourself around forever. I hope that helps somebody. Cheers.